In fact, in January, there was a warning about left-wing extremists. It was issued by the Obama administration.
One source of concern is what is called the lone wolf. That is somebody who's in the United States, a United States citizen. He may have become radicalized via the internet to the point of violence, and a sole actor who's not in contact with anyone. That's very difficult to prevent.
What level are we at right now in the wake of Osama bin Laden's death?
The baseline has gone up. When the color code was invented, the baseline was still kind of pre-9/11 baseline. But terrorism threats continue to grow, they continue to evolve, and so the actual baseline is elevated.
So the regular level these days is a heightened level.
That's another way to say it, yes. We've elevated the base.
Assessment from the Department of Homeland Security saying right-wing extremist groups could exploit fears about the economic downturn, gun control, and the election of an African-American president to attract new recruits. It says groups dedicated to a single issue, such as opposition to abortion or immigration, may fall within the definition of extremist. To make its case, DHS cites a surge in purchases of guns and ammunition and the recent shooting of 3 Pittsburgh police officers by a man reportedly influenced by racist ideology and fears of gun confiscations.
Law enforcement authorities have long admitted that among their biggest concerns right now is a so-called lone wolf terrorist, like the guy who showed up almost a year ago right at this corner here in Times Square trying to blow up a car bomb. Now a chilling new video has surfaced calling for lone wolf terrorists to get their hands on guns, not bombs, and try it again.
They are perfectly placed to play an important and decisive part in the jihad against the Zionists and Crusaders.
Is this the new face of Al-Qaeda? A threatening new video surfacing on the web from Adam Gadon, the so-called American Taliban. In it, a chilling call to arms for would-be terrorists. He urges Al-Qaeda sympathizers already in the U.S. to exploit weaknesses in U.S. gun laws and background checks to get weapons and go on a rampage.
America is absolutely awash with easily obtainable firearms. You can go down to a gun show at the local convention center and come away with a fully automatic assault rifle without a background check and most likely without having to show an identification card.
He's encouraging lone wolf attacks similar to, but less sophisticated than, convicted terrorist Faisal Shahzad's foiled car bomb plot in Times Square.
This is a golden opportunity.
Gadon's web clip drew this response from New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg today. Quote, "Weak gun laws aren't just a crime problem, they're a national security threat. Congress should take common sense steps to keep guns away from terrorists."
That makes us more concerned. It means we've got heightened awareness. The biggest concern we have right now is not the launching of a major terrorist operation, although that risk is always there. The risk that we're especially concerned of right now is the lone wolf terrorist, somebody with a single weapon being able to carry out wide-scale massacres of the sort that we saw in Norway recently.
The FBI and Department of Homeland Security sent local and state police a bulletin stating small arms operations could be employed through a range of tactics from a lone offender, as illustrated by the recent July 22nd lone shooter attack that took place in Norway.
If you see smoke and lots of emergency vehicles tomorrow, if you hear sirens or simulated weapons fire, don't be shocked. It's only a drill. Denver's largest terrorism response exercise ever is just hours away. Fox 31 Denver's Hendrik Sabrandi is live tonight at Park Meadows Mall with more. Hendrik.
Libby, I am at the mall tonight because this is where Operation Mountain Guardian is actually going to begin. Emergency responders will be responding to 4 mock terrorist attacks, including one early tomorrow morning here at Park Meadows.
We are following breaking news right now out of Colorado. We're going to give you a live look from Aurora, Colorado. That is a suburb of Denver. At least 20 people have been shot at a movie theater. What you're looking at on the left-hand side of your screen there is a scene from 9 News. That is Kyle Dyer, the anchor there. That is the NBC station in Denver. And on the right-hand side is a live look from a helicopter above the scene in Colorado. There are reports of people dead from this shooting at this movie theater.
It was nearly 3 years ago that 10 coordinated shooting and bombing attacks shook Mumbai, India. That terrorist incident, which killed over 160 people, provides the template for Friday's Operation Mountain Guardian in Metro Denver.
The purpose of the exercise is to test how we would not only respond to a large-scale terrorist attack in Denver, but how we would coordinate an attack that crosses county lines, is in multiple jurisdictions and multiple sites.
In this simulation, 4 places will be attacked: Park Meadows Mall, Smedley Elementary School, Union Station, and the Community College of Aurora. As in a similar exercise in Boston this past May, various different agencies will be dealing with hazardous materials, mock casualties, and each other.
Communication between different jurisdictions is always an area of concern. It's something that we've talked a lot about in the Denver area, but this is the first time we've really tested it.
Denver may not compare to New York as a potential terrorist target.
A warning is out from U.S. security officials. Watch out for a Norway-style attack here in the United States.
And this is a list of the 107 agencies that will be taking part in this drill tomorrow. This is a big deal. Another 400 volunteers will take part as well. The drill has been a year and a half in the planning. Organizers say people won't notice a whole lot of what's going on at the various locations around the city. It's scheduled to start at 5 a.m. and last until 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Live at Park Meadows.
But underscoring the concern, DHS Secretary Janet Napolitano reiterated the threat from smaller groups when talking about security enhancements since September 11.
So what we see instead now are smaller plots involving fewer people.
When you've got one person who is deranged or driven by a hateful ideology, they can do a lot of damage, and it's a lot harder to trace those lone wolf operators. So
this all happened about an hour and a half ago. Still a chaotic scene out there. Police are trying to figure out what happened. Jenna Hanchard is following the story for us this morning. Let's go to her in the newsroom with the very latest. Jenna.
Good morning. Well, our Scripps station in Denver, Colorado is reporting at least 14 people may be dead at this time. At least 50 are injured, and at least 20 people have been transported to a local hospital in Aurora, Colorado.
We talked earlier to Nicole Williams. She's at Swedish Medical Center. She's going to join us on the phone again now. And Nicole, I know earlier you told us that you had 3 people there, all young people. 1 had been treated and released. 2 were in the OR. What else can you tell us now?
Well, I think that's pretty much the update that we have from here. We have obviously staffed up and been prepared for anything that came into the hospital tonight. We have received word at this time from Aurora EMS that we will not be receiving any more patients via ambulance. So at this point, we are braced, however, for any walk-in patients. We are hearing at this time that some patients that were able to get in their cars and drive themselves away from the scene are showing up as walk-ins at area emergency departments. So we are prepared for any of those, but at this time we've not had any.
And I understand this could be extremely short, maybe just a minute or 2.
Yeah, I think no more than that, and probably he will not say anything. I would expect that his lawyers will do all the talking.
Craig, one of the things that we had heard, and this was an unconfirmed report, is that there was some concern on the part of defense attorneys about, there he is. This is for the first time we are seeing James Holmes as he had been described. He had dyed his hair this orange-red color. He reportedly told police on the scene that he was the Joker. Of course, he came into the movie theater where the newest edition of the Batman movie was playing. There are also reports that a Batman mask was found inside of his apartment. Tell us what we're seeing here.
Well, right now, you're just seeing him sitting with his counsel, one of his lawyers, and he's sitting at counsel table, and the judge will probably advise him, allow him to just sit there.
Let's listen in.
You have a right to be represented by an attorney. If you could not afford one, amid statutory guidelines, I would appoint one to represent you at no cost to yourself. Any plea you make must be voluntary, not the result of any undue influence or coercion.
Aurora police responding to last week's shooting, praised for their performance, one that the top Homeland Security official said her department has been helping local law enforcement prepare for.
One of the scenarios we have been training across the country for is something along the lines of a Mumbai-style attack where you have multiple shooters organized. And we had actually coincidentally just done that training in Colorado.
So if you can.
The 2008 attack in Mumbai, India. Terrorists stormed hotels, shot and killed anyone in their sights.
The idea behind all of this is to make sure first responders to violent scenes like mass shootings can help save the lives of victims, not just stop the shooters.
This is tactical training. Try to hold direct pressure
But it's not just for law enforcement officers. It's also designed to prepare emergency medical responders for dangerous conditions.
Usually the fire department doesn't have any type of tactical medic or tactical training to go into dangerous situations.
This drill at Waukesha County Technical College is the only program of its kind in southeastern Wisconsin.
Some shots fired.
More than 20 EMTs and law enforcement officials participated. The training exercise simulated an active shooter scenario in which a gunman has fired inside an apartment building. One officer was called to the scene and shot.
Officer down. Officer down.
There are more victims, and these emergency responders have two goals: stop the shooter and save the victims.
Second floor, where we have 5 patients in custody.
But getting medics inside of a gun battle is tough. So this drill is teaching the medics how to use force and also teaching the police how to do basic medical procedures.
Colorado native accused of shooting and killing 6 people at a Sikh temple in Wisconsin. Tonight, 3 people are in the hospital with bullet wounds, including a veteran police officer shot 8 to 9 times. The Call 7 investigators tracked the suspect, Wade Page, back to Colorado. He moved out of a Littleton apartment on Windermere in 2007, relocating to North Carolina and then to Wisconsin. We have team coverage tonight of the shooting, and we begin with 7 News reporter Mark Stewart, who talked with the suspect's stepmom late tonight. Mark?
And this is very puzzling because according to Wade Page's stepmother, he grew up in a very diverse community. Many of his friends were black and Hispanic. She feels these racist views really began to come into play once he left the house.
It's gentle and kind, and we did all the normal things that families do.
But somewhere that kindness took a shift. Page became a white supremacist. Racist views of the world, his family insists, didn't evolve at home. You think when something happened when he was in the military?
If you want to get down to my gut feeling, yes.
The Call 7 investigators digging into Wade Page's connection to the white supremacist groups. Call 7 investigator Kelly Raybon found his actions caught the attention of the Anti-Defamation League.
I will carry on their fight with my clenched fist.
It's music with a message geared toward hate.
This is my life, this is my land, this is my home.
Wade Michael Page was a member of 2 white power bands, and the Anti-Defamation League says Page used that music as a way to spread the message of hate.
Well, I think that any time that we recognize people that are identified with this movement, people who really want to talk about a violent overthrow in the United States, one that would eradicate anyone that didn't look like them, that's something for all of us to be concerned about.
Scott Levin is the director for the ADL Mountain Region. He says Page was on their radar because of his music and racist tattoos.
All of these are just a way of trying to identify with this abhorrent group, and also, I think, a way of intimidating others when they see these types of tattoos.
Why Page decided to join this movement is unknown, but Levin says many times it's because that person is seeking a sense of belonging.
And it's also people who are disaffected and are not members of any other group, and they're looking for membership with other people.
The Call 7 investigators dug into Page's background, finding that he had no serious criminal history in Colorado. He was charged with a DUI in Denver in 1999, entering a guilty plea. In 2000, Page violated his probation and an arrest warrant was issued. But 7 years later, the case was administratively closed. In the newsroom, I'm Call 7 investigator Kelly Raybon.
And the Call 7 investigators also obtaining Page's military record. He was a psychological operations specialist, and ABC News is reporting Page was actually reduced in rank from sergeant to specialist. We haven't been able to find out why.
The alleged shooter had a lot of tattoos. You say they're very important in white supremacist culture. How so?
Yeah, well, tattoos are everything in white supremacy culture. I mean, I looked at one of his tattoos online. It showed the word 14, which is a acronym for one of the white supremacy logos. So, I mean, that's
also 88. I've seen has some significance.
88 is Heil Hitler, because the 8th letter of the alphabet being H8.
And you say acting sort of as a lone wolf is a tactic in the modern-day white supremacist movement.
It is. A lone wolf tactic has been around for a while. There's actually a point system for the lone wolf. And They love to use that tactic because it eliminates anybody else getting in trouble. So a larger group of people won't go to prison or go to jail.
New DHS assessment says right-wing extremists may try to radicalize disgruntled veterans to exploit their military knowledge. Some conservatives find that offensive, but DHS points to Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh.